when someone is at their lowest, that their children become currency. I wish that was the only time I've ever heard it. I really do.
Let's be honest about recovery.
The rewards, the challenges.
Let's talk about our failures. We are flawed people, after all.
Let's challenge the stigmas that weigh us down.
Because while most of us are looked at, few of us are seen.
Let's talk about addiction.
And how Christ overcomes our weaknesses.
Because we are loved.
Because we are loved.
Because we are loved.
We are loved.
We are
Because
loved.
we are loved.
My name is Tiffany Cruit, and for 20 plus years, I was a dead man walking, living in sin, shooting any kind of drug that I could put into my vein. And I got arrested December 29th, 2019, and started talking to God and got a Bible. And from there, he walked me right out. 3 weeks later, I was out of there. 3 months later, out of a rehab, walked me out of that, took me from that life and just placed me into a new life. And if he can do it for me, he can do it for you. And this is my story.
Welcome back to Jesus Loves Addicts. We're glad you're here. So today, as we always say, another story of hope and redemption with Miss Tiffany Cruit is with us today. And so I'm looking forward to diving into her story. What little I know of it is that she spent 20 years captured by this thing of addiction. She has been 7 years clean. And somewhere in the in-between, she started having real conversations again with her Savior in a prison cell. And as those of you who follow this podcast, you know that's not the first time we've heard that. God will meet us in the dark places. He's not afraid of the dark. So, Tiffany, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were giving us kind of a little snippet. Your life started difficultly.
Pretty much, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, me and my brother had a mother that was addicted to drugs. So, and my dad was a merchant marine, so he wasn't around much. But she abused us, and she was really bad to us. She tried to kill us a couple of times. She tried to drown me and my brother in the bathtub. She set the house on fire. And finally, the law took us away, and we went from foster home to foster home to foster home. And I'm going to tell you, people are bad. People are bad out there. So, but
you're referring to the foster homes as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were y'all able to stay together?
Yeah, we stayed together.
Okay.
And then we got a foster mother and father. They live in the Bayou, and they had us for like 6 years, and they were amazing, and they got us in church. So I went to First United Methodist Church, and we did good there, you know. But then my dad got us back.
He got out?
Yeah, and he was an alcoholic, so it was abusive and back to the drugs and back to whatever, just not good.
When your dad got you back, was your mom still there?
No, okay. No. She had been gone. He done married somebody else, and I don't know where she's at. Don't need to know. You know, God bless her.
Yeah.
Where she's at. I'm good.
Yeah. Dad still?
He's dead. He passed away 6 years ago, 7.
And were you still in contact with him?
I know, it was longer than that, 8 or 9 years ago, because I was still in active addiction.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in active addiction pretty bad.
Did you have any relationship with him at that
did.
time?
He became my best friend in my adult life. Like, he was there to help me, but he was also doing drugs while I was doing drugs. So when I needed him to come help me, he was there to help me, and it was just a bad situation.
Yeah, y'all had become using buddies.
Actually, yes. But then he got sober, and then he passed away. So, and now I was sober, but he's already gone. So.
Yeah. So you left an abusive biological home life. Sounds like you were in and out of abusive foster homes. At what age did you meet this family that gave you some stability?
I was 4, and more size 2 toddler. I was super little.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was 4, my brother was 5.
Did those, gosh, that's young. So, you mentioned some pretty heavy stuff. Your mom trying to kill you a couple of times. That all happened prior to the age of 4?
Yes, that's for me. I don't remember a lot of it. My brother has a lot more problems than I have with anger and different things that build up, you know.
Because he remembers.
He remembers more than I do.
Now, did he also have addiction issues?
No.
He did not. So not drugs and alcohol anyway, probably some vice of some sort, right? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Even if not just anger. Are you guys close, you and your brother? No. You're not?
We don't talk much. Every now and then.
Okay.
But no, we were very close growing up, but that
Y'all were each other's only.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that change? Because I
was an addict. I lost everything. My foster family didn't want anything to do with me. My brother, my family, nobody. And then I got so high and I was doing so many bad things that I was too embarrassed to even go around them.
Yeah.
So for the whole time, 15 years, I didn't even speak to my family.
So they didn't even know.
They didn't even know much about me.
So your brother then, if you went from a place of being close to where you are now, probably had some anger at your behavior and that kind of stuff.
So I would, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has there been, and we're jumping way ahead here, I know, but I'm just curious because so much.
She's like, I'm ready.
Yeah, so much destruction in the rearview mirror. And that sort of, it just seems like there's this one consistent being your brother. Any, my heart immediately jumps towards, is there any reconciliation at work, or is it not ready?
We the first time I seen him was at Thanksgiving last year. I have some photos of me and him being reunited for the first time because he actually came. But every now and then I'll text him to see how he's doing, or he'll reach out to me. Okay. So we are back into talking, which is
that's a huge step.
It
sounds like
yeah. If I can't have anybody, you know what I mean? I want to have that.
Yeah.
He's important.
Amen.
No, he's vitally important, and I have to believe that he'll watch this and he'll hear that and see it.
And if he doesn't watch it and see it, maybe somebody out there that's hoping to be reunited with a family member will get some hope instilled into them.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well, that while you were, the first thing that stood out, and you're right, I know that we're jumping way ahead, but we're here real quick, and I want to say this, that even hope of restoration didn't come immediately. And I mean, you're going into this 7 years, and you're talking about, you just got photos with him last year. Well, while we're walking in the promises of God, it's on His time, not ours. And so I feel like so many people give up before they see those promises. Yeah. They're like, well, I've been waiting this long, but 5 years and 6 years to us, that feels so long, waiting on those family members, children, brothers, sisters. It's nothing to
It's
him.
nothing, and it's really nothing. And in the end, when we do pass away and go to heaven, if that's where we're going, hopefully everybody gets there. Yeah. We're not going to see brother, sister, wife, husband. We're all going to be united as one and worshiping God. So that's pretty amazing in itself.
Yeah.
But while we're here, it's stressful. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're right.
The 12-step program has an interesting slogan that speaks to what you were just saying. They say, don't leave before the miracle happens.
Yes.
Right?
And most of the time we give up right before it happens.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's right. It's always darkest just before the dawn.
Always.
But so I know this is a generic question. If you don't want to go there, it's okay. One of the reasons we do this podcast, though, is to give people currently in a bad situation hope. They can say, hey, there's somebody who made it out. Anything, and just what you said is enough. So I'm not trying to pry, but anything that you want to illuminate on those difficult years, like for somebody who might be going through it, like, what can anything you could add to what that was like for you?
Like some of my experiences from that?
Whereas somebody who might be going through it wouldn't have the opportunity to say, well, she doesn't understand. She doesn't know.
Okay. Well, me and my brother was at one foster home. I do not remember, but my foster mother, when I got older, showed me the pamphlet that she had of all the things that were done to us. Because when she first got me, she would try to give me a bath. And because my mother had tried to drown me in the bathtub, I would freak out and I would scratch her and claw her and I would scream at the top of my lungs and try to get out because I thought she was trying to kill me. And anyway, so we're going to go back. Foster homes that I was in, me and my brother was in this one foster home. And when they would leave and go to work, they would lock us in the pantry closet, which was empty, with nothing but cat food on paper plates under the door, and that's what we had to eat. And we was there for probably a month or two before the state came back to check on us, and was like, okay, we're going to take them away. Some other things that's probably not viable to be on happened. my mother would bring men home from the barroom before we even got taken away because she was an addict to do things with me and my brother when we were babies. And that's pretty sick.
Was she getting paid for that?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I would bet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Different
Okay,
things.
so
like
dark days. And
those are some of the easier things to talk about.
And that's tragic in itself.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
When someone is at their lowest, that their children become currency. I wish that was the only time I've ever heard it. I really do.
Yeah. Oh, addiction is a real possession, and it had
is.
your mom. So let me ask this. That definitely illuminates the darkness that you went through. You're taken out of your home at 4, such a young age, right? Well, you know what?
No, I was taken out of my home around 2.
Around 2.
My foster mother that got me and gave
At
me
4.
a good few years, I was 4.
At 4, okay.
Okay. A good few years.
Man,
As a child. She did all that when we were very young, so it was pretty bad.
Do you remember
Do not.
the
and that's a blessing in
the
itself.
drowning incident? Do you just
No.
Okay.
I just remember when my foster mother told me and showed me and stuff.
Okay.
Like the record of
Yeah.
your
And
then
time
we
in
had
CPS.
drugs instilled in us at a very young age too, because I remember her telling me, we were sitting at McDonald's one day and I was like 19 years old and I was like, so can you tell me anything about my past? This is when we first started talking about stuff. And she was like, well, I remember when I first got you and Robert, I came outside because y'all was out there being quiet and stuff, but y'all had a stick and y'all was playing the cocaine game outside on the back porch. So
Y'all
it was
were-
already,
You were
it's just
4 then,
Yeah.
so 4 and 5.
That's crazy.
Well, and playing house would look like the house
Yeah.
you see, right? So, so let me ask you this though, because you're taken out at 2, finally find some stabilization at 4. I say finally, not because of the number of years, but just the hardship of those years. And then at 10, roughly, you go back to your dad. Because there's very little memory for a 2-year-old, did the prospect of going back to your dad before it all started again, was that a hopeful event for you when you knew that?
It was at first.
Yeah.
But then we were scared because we had already been with our foster family for so long. That was our mom and dad.
Yeah.
And it was just hard. And I'm going to tell you, the worst thing I think about all of it and what's got me so bad, and I do have a lot of trauma from it because I feel like everybody's going to leave. You know what I'm saying?
You
Or
have
be
that
snatched
fear.
away. Because we got taken away from foster home to foster home, and then we got put in such a good place and snatched from there right back into a repeat of our childhood, you know?
Yeah.
And that I think really messed me up. Yeah, I got a lot of
A fear of abandonment.
bad, very
Yeah.
bad. I think
Does that
everybody's
persist
gonna
to the day?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you married?
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay. And all right, so have you?
No.
Yeah, have you been, or have there?
Yes, I was married. I was married.
So the reason I'm asking is because that fear often becomes sabotage.
Yes.
In a relationship.
I left him, and he was asking me to stay. He was like, "Tiffany, don't do this," you know. And I was like, "Hey, peace out." Horrible. Good man. He's a good man.
All right, so let's back it up.
Okay. It's a lot. Yeah.
We'll get
It's
there.
okay.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot. It's crazy.
So you go
I'm
back
okay.
to your dad's.
You are okay.
The reason I had asked that question about was there some hope is because that's one of the things that breaks my heart for these foster kids. By the way, we're involved loosely in there. And so it is so difficult, right? Because especially at 2, you don't have memory of this. Going back to your parents can seem like a positive thing. And then it's one more rug that gets pulled out from under you. No wonder you have a fear of abandonment. You come by it honestly, right? So you go back, you go back to your dad. How quickly does the luster get?
Okay.
How quickly does it get bad?
Not a month after. About a month afterwards, we were sitting at the dinner table, and this I do remember so vividly, and it's so messed up. I'm probably gonna cry. But me and Robert were sitting. Robert, me, Daddy, and Rachel were sitting at the table, and I had made a comment like, "Oh wow, that's crazy! You crazy, Daddy!" And it pissed him off, so he backhanded me across the room. And my brother picks me up, and we get into the room, and he's like, "You look, we can call Miss Reams or Miss Green, and we can get out of here. We don't have to stay here." And I was like, "Bruh, I'm so tired." here, there, and everywhere. You know, I'm like, let's just tough it out. So we made a pact together to just work through it, and it just kept on.
It didn't get any better.
No. So we just dealt with it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Then I would start running away at 14. So then I went and moved to Louisiana when I was 15 and stayed down there for a couple of years. It's, you know,
he didn't come for you?
Yeah, he did, but I didn't. I was already higher than a kite and crazier than a
So you started
in a
using
corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when did that start?
Yeah.
When did you start using?
Using drugs?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. I started stealing my dad's Lure tabs when I was like probably 11.
Okay. So not long after returning to your dad, within
not
a
long at
year,
all.
you were... Okay. Is that what you started with, is Lure
Yes,
tab?
Lure tabs, just taking them. But, yeah.
Did somebody... Because that's an interesting one to start with.
My dad would take it, and he would get high off of them. And
Oh, so you just saw that and thought,
let me do
And that's
this
what
and
was
numb this
available.
pain. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he said painkiller, and if he had
But I would
said,
see him not caring about nothing when he took it.
that's what I'm saying. Like you hear
Yeah.
painkiller, and you're like, okay, that sounds great.
and it worked quite
Yeah.
well.
And at 11, that you had that level of pain and trauma, I can't fathom, to be honest.
You know, it's interesting. I know he's not here, but it makes sense, the path that you took. I'm really wondering, you know, would love to have had, you know, your brother's perspective on this. I mean, how in the
too.
world did he
don't talk
not
about it.
go down that? And like I said, there must be
That's what he had to
some
do.
rescue devices. Yeah, there. So, so how quickly did that progress? And 11, that's a very young age to be taking such a powerful.
Well, I just kept doing things like that, smoking a little pot here and there. I remember riding my bike into a parked car because I was high, smoking pot. Almost broke my jaw. I think I was like 12 or 13, but I didn't. And I don't think I even told anybody about that until now, but I did do stupid stuff. And that progressed. I think I was 15, started trying cocaine and different things like that.
Were you introduced? How
Absolutely.
were you introduced to that?
A friend of some
Friends
guy.
and guys.
And he's passed away. He OD'd on from fentanyl.
So by now, your whole social scene is.
A lot of them are passed away, and I'm going to tell you what, a lot of them are clean, and a lot of them are believing in the Lord. So
Amen.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
So how did you end up I'm still stuck that at 14 you ran away to another state.
Oh, yeah, my dad was he didn't care. He was with another wife by then, and he was just drinking and drinking. And the drinking's what killed him. He got cirrhosis, turned into liver cancer, and it literally killed him. But he was just drinking and not caring, and he was happy what he had with his girl or whatever, and he had hurt himself on a ship, so he got a lot of money.
Okay.
And he was just living his life.
you know, emotionally, I mean, is there any sense of peace for you at this stage in your life?
Crazy, but
Not
it's
now,
coming.
but at this.
It's coming. It's coming. It slowly comes in waves, and that's Jesus.
Yeah.
Is all I can say, because I am an emotional roller coaster. Like, baby, get on this ride. You know, we're gonna fix it. But the Lord's really taming it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're ready to fix it now, and he's like,
Yeah. And
So
I think it's taken me a long time. I know a lot of people get clean, and within a couple years, they're like, oh, okay, this, and have this thing going on. And it's taken me a while to get to here. And I'm okay with that. Because I know
okay
that
with
once
that.
it's done, I don't have to worry about it again. So.
Well, I wasn't so much meaning now. I know there's peace in your life now.
Yeah, it's
at that point in your story that we're at,
No.
was there any kind of, there's no, I mean, it seems very hopeless. And I think about a 14-year-old girl, 10 to 14.
by herself in another state.
And without, So when you go to Louisiana, are you homeless during these years?
I was with a man.
With the man.
With a
would
man.
be with
Okay,
men,
so you
yeah.
ran away with a, okay. Was that how do I put this? Because I certainly don't mean it the way it's about to come out. But
Don't say it. It's okay.
well, no. As you go with this man, is there sort of hopefulness to you that this man, or
Is it
or did you
relationship?
know?
Not at all. It was, I'm going to use this man. I'm going to get what I get. And I'm going to be okay. I'm going to have a place to live. I'm going to have money to do what I need to do.
Okay.
And I'm going to be away from my dad.
Yeah.
You've learned
That's it.
survival.
Yeah.
That's what's so hard. About, you talk about how people just get hardened and.
But you know,
The
it's
thing
sad.
that always-
I'm not like that now, and it's
sure,
crazy
yeah.
because I don't even want to date. Like, I make decent money. I have 2 rides, I'm living life, I'm doing great, and it's hard for me to even date. And I don't think it's because I'm scared of anything like that. I think it's because I don't want to see me go down any kind of road to where I hurt somebody. I don't want to be that person.
Because you saw what it
Because
did.
I've done it my entire life, and I don't want to do that. That's not who I am, and that's not who I want to be. But I have started talking to someone recently and never been so comfortable with somebody in my life. Somebody that makes me feel safe and okay. It's just crazy, but he does.
What makes you feel like it would end with you hurting them?
Not hurting them physically, because I would never, I'm not like that.
You're like
emotionally, yeah.
Just the way I used to do.
Because you know what
like
you
they would
used to
be,
do.
Yeah, they would be all into me and thinking it was going to be some kind of thing, and they, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna leave.
I got you.
It's just,
But you weren't going
and
to.
they would try to come back. And
Well, you were programmed to run.
That's it.
Well, you weren't going to get attached because that one time you did, everything
Stripped away.
went down with that last safe. I feel like the one time that you felt safe in your life was between 4 and 10.
With my foster family.
And after that, it wasn't until you got sober.
Yep.
I mean, that's a long time of
It's a
feeling
very long
unsafe, looking out as every situation and every person, man and woman, that you come into contact is, what can I get from them that keeps me safe, and then on to the next. It's very hard to even know what, you're not going to know what trust is.
Yeah.
It's all street level. It's
Yeah.
a bunch of rides or dies.
But
Yeah,
we
you
will
don't
be
trust
renewed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's coming.
So
'Cause I
how old was
trusting
this
God.
man that you were with when you were 14?
Good question.
When I was 14,
Yeah.
Fuzzy in Louisiana, gosh, 47 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and no doubt he is in the world you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's passed away now. He died in the
Okay. Yeah. This wasn't the marriage, was it? What?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. I wasn't married till I was 23. And that happened really because I got pregnant. And I thought I was doing the right thing. And I feel like my foster family wanted me to do that. So they were still in my life at that time. So I did. And then I got clean because I was pregnant, had the baby. And yeah,
How did you get clean?
I just stopped because I was pregnant. And
Yeah.
it wasn't for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just didn't want to hurt the baby. I
Yeah.
would never do that.
Not for you, but I know, but you didn't get clean for you.
Absolutely not. It was for the baby.
Yeah.
I did not want to hurt the baby.
So prior to that, is it just a series of relationships that you are
No.
utilizing or?
When I was younger, I used the relationship that, you know, because I had to have that stability. But
Yeah.
then when I got older, I was making meth and selling meth. So I was, you know what I'm saying, having people around me to get
It was-
that.
it
And
had
then I was selling
flip-flopped.
pills, and then we were all back and forth. So it wasn't like that. And then I was too high to even worry about man. I mean, I
Okay.
was literally getting stupid. And that's why I say a dead man walking. The Bible tells us that's what we are in our trespasses. Ephesians 2:5.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had an actual death wish, or do you feel like you just didn't care one
just
way or the other?
I didn't care.
Yeah.
Which in a way
Pretty much
makes
my
us
entire life.
right.
Yeah.
But it almost makes people feel like they are invincible. Like, if I don't care, nothing ever happens. It's fine.
How did you break away from that 47-year-old? Did
Yeah.
you?
I just left. I called my dad. He came and got me.
He came and got you.
Yeah.
Was there any danger in leaving him? Were there any threats
no,
around?
not really.
him? Okay. And so from there, you start your own enterprise. Is that?
No, I was a little bit after that. I went back home and I tried to do right.
You
what
tried
And my
happened?
dad took me to Georgia, and I lived with my uncle and my aunt up there, and I did good up there for a little while. So I had spurts of where I did good,
Yeah.
stayed clean.
Yeah.
And just called right back to it, though. Devil
What
would get
happened?
me, and I would go, getting high. I'd see somebody at a gas station and be like, oh, they're high, you know what I'm saying? But I can do a little bit and be okay.
Yeah.
Then I'd do a little bit, and I'd be back in Mobile the next week. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah.
So you're getting married at 23. Were y'all using friends?
No,
Met when you were sober?
no.
Okay.
I met him in a bar room.
Okay.
Yep.
Did it move very quickly?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Went home with him that night. Woke up the next day, tried to leave. Came back a week
tried to
later.
leave?
No, I did leave. I mean, I didn't try. I left.
okay.
I left. I'm like,
But
bro,
you
take me
kept
to my
coming
car.
back.
It's time for me to go. You know what I'm saying? And I left, but I ended up coming back because I was pregnant. And then I didn't leave. I stayed with him for a little while, but then I ended up leaving. I don't know how old Dominic was, but he was pretty young. I can't remember.
That's your son?
I can't remember in my mind.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So was sex part and parcel to the addiction? Was that
Not really,
just-
because I wasn't very sexually active, and that's crazy to say. I've had a few partners through it, and when I was younger, it was a problem, but I only had 2 or 3 still. It
Right.
wasn't like I would flip-flop around. And then when I got older, I was too busy trying to make sure that I had my next fix,
Yeah.
and I wasn't really worried about who else or what else was going on, so I didn't really have that. Yeah.
That's interesting. So because when
Normally,
you say,
yeah.
I mean, so sex never became the currency from which you got drugs or anything.
Oh, absolutely not. I learned how to cook meth and do it.
Okay, so you
You found
We scrapped, and then I learned how to scrap. Like there's a
Scrap metal.
Scrap metal,
Yeah.
The railroad tracks down in Highway 90. We spent a lot of time down there, me and one of my exes, because the trains that would come through, old signage and stuff would fall off of them, and they would get buried down into the ground. So we would pull all of it up and scrap it, and make $1,000. You know what I'm saying, a day scrapping that. It was,
Yeah.
I really feel that's the first time anybody's talked about scrap.
Yeah.
I've heard other people doing it. I didn't know very much about it.
yeah.
Yeah. With that kind of cash you just talked about, I might have to
Oh,
spend
Lord.
a few hours at the train tracks.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
But I kid. So tell us, you meet this guy at a bar room.
You get pregnant with Dominic.
It's basically just a fling.
Yeah.
But your pregnancy brings you back to him.
I guess I don't even remember it. I just know I met him at a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that the pregnancy is what brought you back to him. How do you end up married to him?
I didn't leave. When I knocked on his door and told him I was pregnant, he said, well, come in, let's talk about it. So we decided to try to work together to figure stuff out. And then I just never left. And we did become friends. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
And I loved him and he loved me. And so I stayed and we tried.
Okay.
Tried.
And how long did that go on?
Have no idea. I can't remember.
Were you using at the time?
I started after the
At the
baby was
end of it.
born and he was,
Did he use with you?
Who? My husband?
Yes.
No.
So he was clean. He was actually trying. So that must, okay. So was he,
And that's probably why I left. Because I couldn't get high with him.
and I would
And you
guess
didn't-
the answer to this, and you'll know it, was he an enabler? Even
Not at all. Not at all.
He tried to keep you from getting high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that can be part of the enabling trap, though, right?
Yeah.
The way they do it.
That was a problem.
But that's a discussion for a different time.
Yeah.
So it became maybe then, would it be fair to say it almost became parental in your relationship?
Was he going to try to
trying
save
kind
you?
of be your dad and
No.
keep you off of it?
No, it was never like that.
Okay.
When you left
I
on
don't
your
know how to
own,
explain it.
did you leave Dominic there?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And you said you don't remember how old he was.
I don't.
It's all right. How long were you gone? Did you ever reconnect
I never
with
came back.
You never reconnected
back,
with either
no.
one of them?
Yeah. Oh, well, yes.
Okay.
When I was at home with Grace.
Okay, wait, don't tell us. Okay, stop. Yeah.
We're getting there.
Okay. Now I'm excited, but just wait.
There's at least one interaction with the law between
Yeah.
where you are in your story now and Home of Grace, right?
One interaction with the law.
I said at least
She was
one,
like, "There's
right?
gotta be more."
So where did
Wait.
I know of one that you mentioned where you
Well, I'll
actually
tell
said-
you one thing that'll help with, you look young. How old are you?
I'm 42.
Okay, so 42 and you got married at 23 and you left after a couple of years.
I'd like to take a moment to recognize a major podcast sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by America's Thrift Stores, your go-to option for decluttering and giving back. If you have a closet bursting at the seams or a garage that's seen better days, we've got the perfect solution for you.
That's right. America's Thrift Stores makes it easy to clear out the clutter and make a positive impact in your community. Whether you're cleaning out your wardrobe, downsizing your living space, or just looking to give back, America's Thrift Stores has you covered.
And here's the best part. You've got options. Schedule a hassle-free home pickup, drop off your items at one of their convenient donation sites, or swing by an America's Thrift Store to donate in person. No matter which way you choose, you're making a difference.
Absolutely. Every donation you make to America's thrift stores directly benefits charities in your area, such as the Home of Grace and other fantastic organizations dedicated to helping those in need.
For example, donations made to America's thrift stores in southern Mississippi help the Home of Grace provide support and assistance to individuals facing drug and alcohol addiction. Your contributions make a real impact on their mission to provide freedom from addiction through Christ-centered recovery. So not only are you decluttering your life, but you're also helping build a stronger and more supportive community.
It's truly a double blessing. So what are you waiting for? Clean out that closet, clear out that garage, and make a positive difference in your community by donating to America's thrift stores.
Visit America's Thrift Stores online to schedule a home pickup, locate a donation site near you, or get directions to one of their store locations.
America's Thrift Stores, where giving back never goes out of style.
No legal issues at this point yet?
No, I'm free and clear on everything. I have all the felonies that I had.
No, I don't mean currently. I mean at this point in your story, where we are in your story.
No.
Not yet.
No, I had everything taken care of because I got pregnant. And when I was pregnant and I was clean, I got everything that I had from the past taken care of.
Okay.
And jail and the police and run-ins with them started when I was really young because I would run away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Daddy would send them to pick me up, so I would go in juvenile hall for the weekend and he'd come get me.
So you got all that taken care of, but we're not done with that part of your life yet, right?
No.
Okay.
So when you
just
left
take us
your
into that.
husband, where did you go?
That's when it started. To the guy down the road that was smoking crack, doing drugs.
So you went to smoke crack?
No, I wouldn't smoke crack. My daddy smoked crack, so it wasn't for me. But he'd had other stuff too.
So you went...
I'm an opiate addict. I used meth and different things to help keep me from getting sick.
Yeah. Well, and you made money on meth, and it supported you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Excuse me.
Okay.
So you're doing pills. When you say opiates, are you to heroin? Where?
Heroin was good, but no. I did it every now and then. I was scared of it. When I say it was good, I mean it was not where I was at with it. I was scared to do that. The pills, I knew what I was getting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know the high I was going to get from it. So I was kind of safe. Too many people's ODing or getting weird, and I watched a friend of mine, I've seen some stuff. So anyway, Dilaudid, Roxy's, Opanas, 100 milligram morphines, stuff like that.
Things that you had the perception of
Yes.
control over,
and
right?
today we know that that wouldn't be.
But you didn't really have control.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, but I thought I did.
Was there a line where you went into needles? Something?
Oh, I shot, yeah.
But was that a line at one point you said you wouldn't cross, and then you end up crossing it, or
Never said I wouldn't cross it.
That was always an open opportunity for
Absolutely.
you. Okay. So you go down the street to this guy.
Yeah.
And so then the legal stuff starts to happen. The run-ins?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you're a revolving door, and it's just progressively getting worse. Yeah.
Kicking doors in, stealing stuff with this guy from people. We got caught. I think both of them are already dead. So I'm not going to mention their name. Everybody that I used to run with back then, hardcore, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Every single one of them passed away. But we did some pretty crazy stuff. And I got arrested a lot. I've been tased because I would run from the police.
Well, you'd spent your whole life running.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me that you would continue.
How many times? Because when I said one time, you said one time?
I don't know, but I do know that at one point I had 13 felony charges.
Okay. Okay. All drug
just at one point.
Yeah.
Okay.
All drug related? Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
never a thief. I was never violent. Never did anything crazy. Nothing like that. And when I say I kicked doors in, I would be sitting in the car. That's probably a thief in its own, but I never was like a thief. I would never come and take from you, or never come and take from you. Like that wasn't my MO. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask you about the memory piece, because there's lots that you say you don't remember.
Yeah.
Is that a result? Because I could see two possibilities here.
Okay.
Is that a result of the drug use, or is it repression from the trauma?
I'm going to say both. Because I did a lot of drugs.
So drug use, but also there's stuff you blocked out.
And there's a lot of trauma. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I just don't remember. And I learned that at a young age, because when I was young and going through everything, it was easy to turn that switch off and not have that memory. So I learned that now, and it was so easy for me to do that. So, yeah, I have no idea some of the things I've been through. People were like, oh, you remember back in 1999? I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I don't remember that whole year.
I'm missing a whole
I can't tell you
year.
nothing.
Yeah. You said, when you first mentioned it, you said, but that's kind of a blessing. I know what you mean by that.
So.
Can you talk to that, though?
Why is it a blessing?
Because I think if I have them memories, it can either recall me back. You know, a lot of people relapse. And I'm blessed with that because when God walked me out of that jail cell, I have not one time wanted to get high again. There has not been one time in the past 6.5 years, almost 7, that I have wanted to get high. I wake up some days and don't even feel like a drug addict. And I relate that to things like that. Not being able to remember stuff that I've done, I don't know that, you know? If it was periods of times where I felt amazing, because the only things I remember is horrible and I can't stand who I was and what I was doing. I don't even know who that is. And,
I do think
you know what I mean?
I do think that you are allowed those memories to remember exactly to what lengths you can go under the influence.
And I had told somebody the other day, we was walking into a building, was walking into church, not a building. We was going into a church, and I was visiting a friend of mine, and he was like, talking about not remembering something. I was like, you know, sometimes that's a good thing, but I'm going to tell you this too. Memories are for God. And when God wants to use you for somebody else, he can give you that memory back, you know? So you have to really hold on to things and use it for God's purpose. And that's just how I look at life nowadays.
Yeah.
How can he use it?
Or something for God, you know? He wouldn't give it to me if I, you know what I'm saying? It would still be repressed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's interesting. Even your energy changes as you begin to talk about where you are now, and I love that, and I like that, and that's where we want to get to. And I like how you see that. You know, it's interesting. I remember one time we were talking about in one of the round tables. Ross was here, and one of the things he brought up, interestingly, was how he can be jealous sometimes of people who have been delivered from it, right? Because God can deliver you from something, and then sometimes he lets us struggle with it because he knows that strengthens us, right? Even Paul prayed 3 times to have some, we don't know what it is, had prayed 3 times to have something removed. It wasn't, and God told him why. I'm leaving it there to keep you humble. Okay, so we know that he can use struggles or deliver. This sounds a little bit like a deliverance story, right? Because it's not that you don't remember, you only remember the bad stuff. And I love that because you said, if I did remember, it might call me back. So what you're referring to, for anybody who doesn't know, is there's something called euphoric recall.
Yes.
Where all we remember is the good time. We forget the disaster.
We forget how bad it was, and it's real easy for the disease of addiction to tell you it wasn't that bad.
So can I throw something in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so last year I had 2 surgeries, a tubal ligation and endometrial ablation, and that was in February. And I had pain pills, and they gave them to me. And I only they gave me like 15, and I did take them. I mean, obviously I had surgery.
You were in pain.
I took 4, and I would break them in half. And they were only like 5 milligrams anyway, and I would just break them in half and take them. And I probably shouldn't even say this, but I gave the rest of them to my neighbor. He had kidney stones, so I just gave them to him just to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I didn't even take them all. But I had another surgery in December, a whole full hysterectomy, and I took all of those then, but I'm not. That makes me so proud.
Yes.
And it probably sounds crazy to people, but it makes me feel so good about myself. And it makes me glorify God.
Amen.
Because like I was able to take that and still put it down.
Yeah.
Anyone in recovery from opiates, I'm in recovery primarily from opiates, but one of the fears that I've talked to other people in recovery is, well, what am I going to do if I have to have a surgery? Like have a plan years ahead of the time. Yeah. So I absolutely do understand that. Yeah. Hey, I did this.
Yeah.
And it's not it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a comment here that we may want to put small print at the bottom of the screen.
We are not recommending.
Words coming out of Paul's mouth do not necessarily reflect the. But I will say this, because you bring up something really interesting. So I am often hard on the medical community.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Because what we should be looking for in those times of post-surgery and things like that, we should be looking for pain management, and that's what they call it. But what they're really shooting for is pain eradication. Pain eradication is a dangerous thing, right? That's where we have to obliterate you. What I love about with these chemicals, what I love about your first experience is they gave you all kinds of chemicals. You cut them in half, and that was enough to manage
your
pain.
Oh,
that's what we should be doing. But
it was
we
bearable.
don't. Yeah,
Yes,
and so they give you way too much, way too high a dose.
Yep.
And it's dangerous. It's certainly not good for addicts, and it makes addicts out of some people, and then some people are relatively unaffected. I get that. But at any rate, in Paul's humble opinion, again, not reflecting anybody else's, it's irresponsible.
Yeah.
It's pain eradication is not even necessarily beneficial
At all.
We want it to be manageable.
Right.
So anyway, I like that you share that piece. And so one of the things, when you said as addicts, I think there's a lot of addicts that fear, what does that look like? Well, it should look like
Am I going to
being
have to be in pain? Or, well, I've also been doing this for long enough that I've had people say, well, no, my relapse started with a surgery.
Right.
Yeah.
And part of it should look like being your own advocate.
Yes,
be your own advocate
I'm
in the medical
recovery.
world. Yeah, right.
This is the deal.
And there are alternatives they can do. There are different. So anyway.
Yeah.
Again, lots of roads to go down there, but I love how you just described it because it speaks to that. So.
And I do feel like you should be proud
And the
of that.
second year, I had 13 teeth pulled out at one time, and I told them I was an addict, and I was so scared because I was so fresh in my recovery that I did only take 1,800 milligram ibuprofen. So I wouldn't let them give me anything else.
And you didn't die.
No, it was not even that bad. 2 days later, I was fine. But your body heals really well. People just don't understand that. It really does.
Correct. In
you
fact,
love that. Look. Yes, correct.
Well, because in fact, I would make the argument that when we, again, I'll have doctors typing in going, you're an idiot, and that's okay. I'm sure I am. But I will say that when you overload the body with things to do what the body is geared to do normally, and you flood it with artificial resources, the body adapts to that. It begins to react by producing less of its own. That's one of the issues with recovery from opiate addiction is that people often relapse because that can be a painful recovery because your body is no longer producing like it should the things that naturally help you recover from pain. So there's a period in there where you have to be a little tougher as your body readapts. So anyway, yes, I know that there are some comments to be made there, and I appreciate the alternate view. But all right, so I see where your passion lies. So let's get there.
Okay.
Lots of different jailhouse experiences, but we get to this one that seems to be pivotal. Can you talk about this last one? What gets you there, and how do you leave there different?
Okay. She's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, come on.
Okay. So, for starters, I was riding on a four-wheeler, and I wrecked it, and I jumped off of it and hurt my leg really bad. Never went to the hospital, but my leg was this big around. That being said, it was probably a week prior to them surrounding the house because they surrounded the house that I was in. And
so
and
you were dealing from this house. You were on their radar.
Yeah, I was kind of dealing from that house, but they knew where I was because they had just pulled me over with a friend of mine, and they were like, okay. They were like, is that Tiffany in the back seat? And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm going to the hospital. And they were like, well, we can't take her, because when I got out and they looked at my leg, they was like, well, we can't take you to jail. I was like, oh, thank God. I figured that, But I'm going to the hospital, man. And he was like, okay. He said, all right, you're going to turn yourself in a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to give you that. Okay. He gave me about 5 days is what he gave me. They came to the house. I never turned myself in. I wasn't planning on it. But they came to the house. Yeah, no, bro, you got to get me. Do your job. And anyway.
Come find her.
Yes. And they did. No worries there. They probably knew where I was the whole time. And so they surrounded the house. There's about 6 of them, 7. And I walked out. I was just like, hey, man, you don't even have to put cuffs on me. I will open my own door. I will book myself in jail. That's like, I'm tired. I am so over this, And so that's
you remember that moment.
That's where it started. I remember it very well. And my birthday's December 28th. I got arrested December 29th. So one of the best birthday presents I've ever had in my life. And
it's interesting how that perspective shifts. Yeah.
Yep. And
just by the nature of sheer exhaustion.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I was just so tired. I spent 5 years crying and looking at myself. Man, it's 93 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering, pleading with myself to stop. Never reaching out to God, of course, because I probably would have stopped. But pleading with myself and wondering why I couldn't, and just crying and telling everybody that I hated it and I hated it and I hated it. And I just still did it. Couldn't stop. Just couldn't stop.
Yeah.
But it took me 5 years of all that to finally hit that point where I was just like, I'm done. And so I get arrested. I get in jail. The second I get back to get in the back, I'm like, yeah, let me go on ahead and get a Bible, put it on my thing. I need to get that. And I got it a couple of days later. It came in. I was just laying there quiet. Usually I'm in the hype and running around and ready to get out. I'm ready to get back out so I can get back high. Didn't get sick. I ain't never been in jail and not been dope sick, but I never even got sick. Never even felt bad. Never beat my legs from the cramps or the aches. Nothing came of it. Started reading in the Bible, and I wrote, oh my gosh, what is it, Romans 8:5? What is the freaking, I don't know the actual verse, but it's be sober, be vigilant, because your adverssery, the devil, walketh about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. I wrote that on a piece of paper and toothpasted it to the wall, you know what I mean? And so I read that a lot. I kept looking at it, and I would look at it. And then at night, when everything got quiet, I would take my little Bible in the stalls in the barracks, and I would just sit and read and talk to God and talk to God and talk to God. And I was like, man, I'm ready to sit down. I'm like, I don't want to get back out there. Just leave me in here, Lord. Don't
leave me in jail if it keeps me out of that.
I said, I cannot do this anymore. I have nowhere to go, no people out there. I don't even have anybody to call, so I wasn't even trying to reach out to nobody, nothing. And I went to court a week later, and the judge was like, yeah, Miss Cruit. I'm like, yes, sir. You ready to sit down? I absolutely am. I said, I absolutely am. He said, yeah, because you're looking at a 10-year sentence, I'm like, I know.
You're going to prison for 10 years.
And I was just fine there. I don't think I cried. I usually cried and was ready to get out and was sick and just not feeling good. And I don't even remember crying this time. Nothing. And let me see, a couple weeks after that's about 3 weeks after being in jail, they said, Tiffany, your lawyer's here to see you. I'm like, I don't have a lawyer. I didn't even get a court-appointed lawyer. I don't know who you're talking about. So I'm going to go back over here and read my Bible. Like, I was literally into the Bible that much. It was crazy. And the CO was like, get your butt over here. You got to go and see this lady. So I go in there, and she's like, here, how you doing today? I'm like, I'm doing quite well. How about yourself? I didn't know what she wanted. I already know I'm going to prison. Why am I here? And she's like, yeah, so what's going to happen is you've never been to rehab. I'm like, no. So? She said, well, that's where
Are you a fighter?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm ready to throw down with this lady for even having me in there. Why am I in this room? This is stupid. And I think I was mad the whole time I was at Home of Grace, too. Just for being there. I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I told that lady, and she was like, yes, I'm going to have you sign this paper, and we're just going to send you to rehab. I'm like, okay. That was pretty much the whole conversation. So I signed it. And I'm thinking I'm going to go to rehab, then I'm going to prison. You know what I mean? Just easy. Not a problem. And so I go out, and I'm just reading my Bible, and I'm walking around in the barracks, blah, 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 thinking to myself, yeah, I'm ready, Lord, I'm ready. And I go back in front of the judge, and he releases me into the rehab. Home of Grace. He was like, well, you're going to go here. And I'm like, okay, well, sure, why not? So 3 weeks. This is 3 weeks into it, Crazy what God can do and how he can turn things around. It is insane. And my heart started beating fast. But 3 weeks into that, and then I had a hold in Daphne. So I went from there to Daphne. And I was only in Daphne for about a week. And they were like, okay, that's kind of a funny story behind that. I got arrested in Daphne, and the cop wanted my name and stuff like that. So I gave him a false name, but my real Social Security number. The judge was like, yeah, so we're not going to talk about this. And I was like, yeah, let's not do that. He was like, we'll put you on informal probation for a year. And I'm like, let's do that. I'm going to prison, so it ain't going to matter.
Wow.
And they released me. They walked me out. They didn't even send me back to Metro to go to Home of Grace because I wasn't supposed to be out. They just let me out.
Oh, wow.
And that was the biggest test from God about where I was going to go. I guarantee you that. Was I going to go back to my old life, or was I serious? Which God already knows everything. But for me, Yeah. And I was serious. So it was like a 10:30 at night. I'm like, dang. So I go to my friend Fleet's house, and I stayed the night with him, and he took me to my aunt's house the next day. My Uncle Bud was still alive, and they drove me to Home of Grace. And, they were
What
like,
did they
we
think
didn't
when
think he was even going to show up. I'm like, yeah, bro, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
We ain't going back. I'm here. Let's do this, so.
What did your aunt feel like, though, when you showed up, I need to go to the Home of Grace?
I don't know, but because I live with them to this day. Me and her and my cousin live together. I'm going to put that down because I'm tearing it up. But we still live together. We live in Silver Hill, me and my aunt and my cousin Sherry together. And I don't know what she thought. She's my best friend. She's my spirit person. I know that. But my Uncle Bud, he was a pastor for many, many years. He's a Pentecostal pastor, him and my other Uncle Chuck. But he's passed away, too. He passed away a few years ago. And I know he was so excited, and he gave me his Bible, which I still have, and he was going over some stuff with me, and he was talking to me, and he was just so happy. And I know my aunt was, but she's not a very overly emotional person. She's like, okay, get in the car, let's go. I'm like, okay. So they came and got me when I graduated, too. But, yeah, they were this, yeah. It was kind of strange after, 22, 23 years.
Yeah.
I just show up, and I'm like, look, I need to go here,
That's what I mean. Like, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting time because I just, the way you tell that interaction with the lawyer prompted me to ask you if you were a fighter, right? You can see it even as you tell the story. So there is this piece of you that's still there, but at this point, it's a weird transition time for you because you definitely still have that fighting spirit, but you're also surrendered, right?
Yes.
They walk you out of the courthouse. You say, "I'm not going back." You're going to follow direction. You're going to go to the treatment.
Yeah.
So it's weird. There's still this fighting spirit in you, while at the same time you're practicing kind of surrender. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
So how do you end up there? They drive you there, and
they drive me to Home of Grace, and they stay with me through the intake process and everything, and they left me.
So tell us about that process, because you already dropped a little taste of it. You said you were angry for much of your time there.
Absolutely.
Where did that break?
And then I didn't even want to be there. It didn't never break until I got out, and they came and got me when I graduated. I just didn't want to be there because I didn't feel like I needed to be there, and that's probably. Nobody does. I don't need to be here. No, I don't need to be here. I got this. But my time with the Lord sitting in jail, I already knew that I didn't need to be there. I already knew that I didn't need anything. I don't go to AA. I don't go to CRs. I don't do anything. I just make sure I attend church and do what I need to do to keep my relationship with God. Like I wake up every morning and post my Bible. What do y'all do in the morning? Do you spend your time with God? I do stuff on Facebook like that. But my time with the Lord is very important to me, and that's what keeps me grounded in where I am. So, I need that.
So what I remember, I had the privilege of, I was a new house mother when you came. But it was the degree of separateness. And I had spent some time trying to think about it once I knew that you were coming. It was the degree of separateness and not isolation. Friendships are made in treatment centers. Absolutely. You're learning to pray with people and for people, but you were always in your Bible.
Always in my Bible.
I
got up at 4 a.m. and I know there was somebody there that already made coffee in the mornings, but I was so ready to read my Bible that when I would wake up at 4, no alarms because we didn't have alarms. We didn't have stuff like that, But I would get up at 4 a.m., I would grab my Bible, I'd run out there and make the coffee for all the girls. I'd get me a cup, and I would go out to the pavilion that we had and just read my Bible. And that was just it. I mean, a lot of Ephesians repeatedly. Jeremiah, I don't even know why Jeremiah came in there when I was in there, but I do remember I did read it, and I read it a lot. And I would call my uncle whenever I had time, and I would talk to him about the scripture, and he would be so excited to talk to me about it, and he was so amazing.
That's interesting. And I like the way you just put that, because in treatment, you often see people isolating.
Yeah.
But it's usually
not good.
It's usually a warning, right?
Yes. Right. And that's not this.
Yeah. What came to mind was the scripture about, I wish that you were hot or cold, but because you're lukewarm. So in treatment, treatment can be kind of a lukewarm place, right? As people are figuring it out, which way are we going to go? So typically when you see people isolate, they're isolating because they're getting cold. They're drifting. Yeah.
That wasn't
But you were checking in.
Yeah.
You were far beyond that. You were moving away from the lukewarm into a deeper relationship. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. I couldn't handle it. The girls would be this, and this, and talking about all the things that they've done, this and this and this, and getting high and stuff like that, which I understand.
Yeah.
Because that's vividly what they just came from.
Yeah.
They're right here still vividly in that, you know? And I just wasn't. That's not where I was. I'd never.
You weren't going
It wasn't
back.
backwards. There was no... I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy talking about it. It wasn't fun. I was sick of it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be around it. So I did. I had to leave that. I left them a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting though. I love that.
Before we go any further, let's take a minute to address the man or the woman listening to today's episode and wishing for a better life. Or maybe addiction has completely overtaken a family member or a friend.
You are not alone. As you may know, the Jesus Loves Addicts podcast is produced by the Home of Grace, a Christ-centered addiction recovery program in South Mississippi with over 60 years of experience.
The Home of Grace has residential programs ranging from 30 days to 12 months. With 2 separate campuses for men and women, they are fully staffed with caring individuals who want nothing more than to guide you to a life of recovery.
Services include individual and group counseling, marriage and family counseling, classes, workshops, GED, and workforce training, all grounded in biblical principles.
And because of donations from the community, the cost of the program is incredibly affordable.
Thousands of alumni from across the country can tell you there is no other program in the world quite like the Home of Grace.
If you want to start a new path to recovery, don't wait. Speak with an admission specialist today. Visit homeofgrace.org or call 833-55-GRACE to talk with someone.
That's 833-55-GRACE. Call the Home of Grace today. So you mentioned prior to getting started that you no longer return to your hometown or Mobile unless it's purposefully.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little? Are you involved in something? Like what?
Not quite right now. Sometimes I go do a few different things over there. My cousin Sherry, she's got a ministry called Mary Way Ministries, and me and my aunt are on the board with her. So we do a lot of stuff for the homeless. We go to Pensacola a lot, and sometimes we'll travel to Mobile after we make care packages and pray for people and buy them food or whatever we need to do. But I said, no, I'm not involved. So I lied. I am in that aspect, yes. Yeah. But I do go to Mobile, but I do go with somebody.
Yeah. I get that.
And I don't think I'm going to go back and do drugs. I really don't. I don't see it ever happening. But the thing is, Satan is good at what he does. Our God is greater. And if I'm not in a great standing with God one day, and Satan can get in my head, I need support. I want support.
Okay, let me jump on that because because you said something just a minute ago that I wanted to soften anyway, but you just softened it, and I love it. Look, there is no one way to do this.
No.
Support can look a lot of different ways, but support is necessary. So you just said a couple of minutes ago, I don't do AA, I don't do Celebrate Recovery. No. And a little bit in me rises up and goes, no, don't say that. I want people. But what you just said now really balances that.
Yeah.
You're not isolating. You're not getting away from support. You have a different form of it.
I had it at home. I lived with my aunt.
Well, you still have it, it sounds like.
Yeah. And my uncle, and we would sit at the table and we'd read the Bible out loud every night. We would take turns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had that support.
Yeah.
And that is the best support you can have.
And you have the wisdom, like you said, when you go now, you don't go alone.
No.
And I really want to capitalize on that, right? I do recommend that people get involved in support groups because we need that.
We do.
Unless you don't. Your story really does have, and I'm not going to define it this way, but it certainly has what sounds like deliverance components to it, right? Not everybody is delivered. Like I said, sometimes we're left with the struggle because it strengthens us. So it looks different for different people, but even so, we are called to not be lone wolves.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
Well, even so, though, okay, what stuck out is also that while you're saying, I may not go to this, but yes, I am involved in this ministry. I am surrounded by support. I still don't, without saying it, you're still saying, I don't forget what happened, what I'm capable of. I'm not even going to take it for granted that I'm just fine. Like, you're not saying that. You're saying, on that off chance, I don't go by myself.
Like, sure.
I want to make sure that I'm sure that I'm guarded, and that's accountability.
And
that's asking
Lord.
for accountability and having those strong people in our life that are there to make sure that we don't fall.
Yeah.
I like that you didn't, because you go for, I know I'm never going back. And for some, that can be a red flag going, don't ever say never.
Right. Right.
But you know that you're never going back because you've put all these safeguards in place that we try to get people to do.
Yeah.
Well, all we can do is practice what keeps us safe.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
We have, right? That's why we are to stay connected to the vine.
Yes.
Right. And so that's all we can do. We can just, the adage in recovery is that your relapse doesn't start when you pick up the drug. It starts when you start to lay down the things that are working.
Yes.
Right. So you are practicing those things. When you say you work within the homeless community through this board, that I would assume keeps you very close to the addiction community too, because there's a lot of addiction and homelessness, right?
I love talking to addicts. I love talking to people who are still addicted.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So do you share your testimony
Absolutely,
often?
100%. And
there you go.
A lot of them can see it. I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know a lot of addicts.
Yeah.
But a lot of them know who I used to be and who I am today. And
that's
I am
cool.
not that person. So it helps them to see where I came from.
If
and
you can do it really,
you know,
if he can do it
really,
for me, you said that,
and
he'll do it for you.
that's how I feel about it. And I tell people on Facebook all the time, and anywhere whatever I'm on, which is not a lot of platforms, just Facebook. But if you ever want to talk about Jesus, just let me know. It don't have to be today. It could be 10 years from now. When you reach out, we can talk, baby.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can talk to you like we all down here still addicted. Even though I'm not, I'll still talk to you like that because that's what resonates
what's going
in their
to
mind.
reach you. When Paul said, if I need to be a Jew, I'll be a Jew. To be a Gentile, I'm going to be whatever I need to be just as long as Jesus is preached. I have something, and I don't want to miss it because we paused it. Dominic.
Yeah, and I'm still not back in his life, which is not right. But
Yet.
Right.
How old is he?
He's 19. And the thing about that, it's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. I wouldn't pressure anything, and I'm not going to do anything because God's timing is perfect. And whenever he's ready to make it happen, I promise you he'll make it happen. But at the Home of Grace, the craziest thing happened. We went to Destination Church. Yeah. And I haven't seen my son since he was a child. And he was there. And he
Just
saw
by
me.
chance.
Yeah. No, they go to that church.
Yeah.
We went there. No, we went there from the Home of Grace.
You were in treatment and
I
went.
was in treatment and we went. Yeah. And I think Wendy got the call because y'all had to wake me up that Sunday. And it was crazy. But he saw me. My son saw me and said, I think that's my mom, to my ex-husband. And so they knew I was with the Home of Grace crew. So they called the Home of Grace and said, is Tiffany Cruit in treatment? And they're like, we can't tell you that, And he was like, well, my son saw her and that's his mother. And we're trying, where he wants to see her. So it went from there, and they did. They came and visited one time, and it was great. And I got to talk to him and see him. Things didn't go the way as planned, so I'm still not around. But it did. I know. Yeah, absolutely. But he did come and see me, and I did get to see him. And it's crazy that he saw me. And what's even crazier about it, I was sitting there talking to another girl in recovery on the steps, saying, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go pray about seeing my son." And that was Saturday, and Sunday he saw me in church. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
And Wendy was like, Tiffany, she's like, we got to tell you something. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody was freaking out a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And that's God. That's how God works.
Well, and I can only imagine. I mean, I'm sure he's got a lot of feelings, probably anger and abandonment
there's no telling
of his
what
own.
he's been fed about me. And it's understandable. Yeah. I won't deny anything because it's probably a lot of it's true.
Well, I love your acceptance of the process, giving it time and space. I've asked this before, and I'm going to ask you. You don't have to do anything if you don't want. But if he were to flip this on and was listening, is there anything that you would want him to hear from you, or no? No, just in your time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I'm always going to be here. All you got to do is look on Facebook and look up your mama's name, and I'm here.
Okay.
Just don't be mad at me. I'm struggling with a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And I will always respect when it's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
It's absolutely okay.
And to say like I'm struggling, but I'm holding on. I'm still here.
Yeah.
I don't need, especially in recovery, I don't need to see the perfect stories, because all that's going to do is show me where I am not.
Perfect stories are a lie.
Exactly.
But this world isn't perfect. There's nothing in this world at all that's ever going to be perfect. So that picture perfect crap that you see is that sunset beach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That don't always look that way. When the clouds come rolling in and the storm hits it, it don't look so beautiful. Yeah. And that is how life is. Nothing is perfect. Nothing.
Yeah.
And if you see somebody and you think they're perfect and you're an addict and you see them living and you're like, they got the perfect life, don't think that.
Yeah.
Because I promise you they don't.
Yeah.
Can I challenge just a little bit? You may not like this. If I were talking to you,
I'm a clone door.
don't charge me now.
Okay.
If I were talking to your
You're
son,
safe.
safe place.
Mike.
If I were talking to your son, I might put it a little differently. I think where we end is the same. I would probably tell him that it's okay to be angry. Not don't be angry. Be angry, but don't let the anger control you.
Yeah.
If anything, if you are listening, your mom is a beautiful picture of our imperfection. And if you will see beyond that, you will also see demonstrated God's perfect grace. And so I hope you step into that.
I do,
and
too.
that the future holds a different relationship for you and your mom. So yeah, you bravely said, and I get it, that I don't think I'll ever use again. And I think that's the best we can do. We can say that, and we go day by day. But it illuminates something, and I wonder if you could speak to, what would you say might be, if you were to be able to identify, what might be the most worrisome obstacle, something out there that you would think, I'd really have to dig in to get through this? Is there something that you could foresee that would?
No.
Yeah. So it's just an awareness of the unknown for you when you say that.
I've lost my uncle. I've lost my aunt just a few months ago, my Aunt Ronette. Just a couple years before that, I lost my Aunt Yvette, and she lived with us too.
Yeah.
So people who I'm even close with are passing away. And when my dad passed away, that's what I ran to, was drugs. But I wasn't even as close to my dad as I was with my Aunt Ronette or anybody else. So
So it's been tested.
yeah, and I didn't think about it. I just would say I need to go to sleep. If I started feeling any type of way that wasn't right, I would go to sleep. Just sleep. And you wake up and you can get that different mindset. So sometimes we do need rest.
I believe there's healing in sleep.
Yeah.
And in tears.
We do need to connect.
I can't think of anything though.
Yeah.
At all that would make me
Well, that makes
feel
that
like I need to
comment.
get high.
Yeah, that makes that comment for me even more profound, because it demonstrates, like I said, it's just for you, it's not, hey, I understand that this could trip me up. It's more, hey, I understand that I don't know what the future holds.
That's right. And I just read Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer, and we are in spiritual warfare all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, that guard ever comes down. What if I spend a week not talking to God or in my Bible
There you go.
or whatever, and Satan comes over here and because it don't take much, you know, but you got to stay prepared. Ephesians 6 tells you that. You have to be prepared with the full armor of God. And you have to, I do it every morning. I wake up. I can't go about my day without talking to God and spending time in the Bible. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I will lose it. But that's the only thing. That's why I say I think. Because I don't know where, you know what I'm saying? Next year I might have that mindset where I'm far away from the Lord. And this has been the most trying year I've ever had in my life. My mental health has not been that great. Fell off, and I did take a week from not reading the Bible. And every time I would try to read it, it would just sound like mumbo jumbo, and my mind would jump to other stuff. Every time I would try to praise the Lord and listen to my worship music, which is, I lean on it so much, I need it. I couldn't even sing it. I couldn't, you know what I mean? And so it would stress me out so bad I would turn it off. And it was just the weirdest thing. And a friend of mine told me, he was like, okay, sit down, read the Bible out loud to yourself. Don't try to read it in your head, read it out loud. So a couple of days of doing that, and I got my family to sit down with me. You know, this was just a few months ago. Yeah. But I got my Annie Lane and Sherry and even Sharon to sit down with me, and we all just took turns reading paragraphs from the Bible out loud. And it worked. It brought me right back to where I needed to be. But this is my 7th year. And what is 7? think the year of completion or the number of completion.
Yeah.
So the end of this year is my 7th year, and I think it's being tested.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm not only extremely thankful that you came today, just that I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Very.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person.
No.
You're not the same person.
No.
And you was already a house mother, but you're still not the same person.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can all say that year to year.
We go from
We're
glory to
always
glory.
growing.
Hopefully we're going to continue to grow until we
That's
die.
right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
right. That's right. Let me ask you one more question.
Absolutely.
Because I asked you if you were a fighter, and you said, "Oh yeah," and certainly you come by it honest. You had to be defensive from a very early age. How has God softened you in the 7 years of your recovery, or do you feel like He has?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You will fight me over that.
Yes, we'll take this outside, okay? No, absolutely. I was talking, a great example. The guy that I've been talking to, we was in a Dollar General yesterday, and there's a guy came in that was acting and talking a little crazy, right? And I was like, yeah, this man's not right. It's thinking in my head. So then we started talking about stuff, me and this guy, and I was like, yeah, if somebody attacked me, I would like kick him in the back of the knee, you know what I'm saying, and get him down. I'd probably owe him that. And then I was like, you know what we're going to do? We're about to pray for this man and dear Heavenly Father, and that's how I stay from getting angry, and it stops it. So you start praying for people when you feel angry about something or anything, and that's good. Or you can pray for yourself, whatever you need to pray for.
Yeah.
Just start talking to God, and it helps.
Yeah.
And that's how I get. That's it. That's what I do.
Yeah. Boy, that demonstrates a lot there. I talk about being intentional. And what an intentional choice in that moment, right? You can sense yourself going back to kind of old thoughts, old behaviors. Wait, let me do this differently.
We're not doing that's not who I am. That's not what we're going to do.
Yeah.
God doesn't want that at all.
Yeah.
Being confrontational. And I wasn't even being confrontational. The man went around the store. It was just me and him talking and discussing something. You know what I'm saying? And that made me feel wrong. Wrong. Even though wasn't no confrontation going on or nothing like that. I don't like that. I get angry driving it. You know what I'm saying? You see me doing 75. How are you going to pull out in front of me and do 30? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm mad. And I pass them, but I stay a little angry. But I still talk to the Lord. But, it's the best way to combat stuff like that is Jesus. God.
Yeah.
Anything.
You know what I like about your response is that, for sure, it demonstrates being softer, but it also demonstrates something else. Our feelings don't go away.
No.
But the way we respond to them changes.
And that's what you said, being intentional. And that's what we have to do. Every day we wake up, we need to make a choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not just like a today thing and then it's just going to last. You have to be intentional every day.
That's
you
right.
have to make that choice.
Yes.
And
You're
it's
right.
so easy to make the wrong choice,
But you've
God
been
is strong.
choosing life for a lot of 24 hours at a time.
That's it.
And you're almost to 7 years of choosing right and choosing differently.
And, Paul speaks to that, right?
Die daily.
Yeah. He says, I die daily. And that's exactly what he's referencing, is being conscious of the desires of the flesh and then denying them and pursuing the desires of the inner man, the spirit.
There.
Yeah. Really good
there.
stuff. Tiffany, have we inadvertently omitted anything you would want people listening to know about your story? Any hope that you would want to drop in their bucket before we...
I don't really know. I do want to say that things aren't better. I don't feel like life has gotten better. I just feel like I've made a choice. Life is bad and it's hard.
Yeah.
Hard's a better word, not better. It's always going to be hard. You're struggling now and you're having such a hard time. Even though you get clean, it's going to stay hard. It's just going to be easier to handle. But don't think that it's going to be greener over there. 'Cause it's not. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. But you're doing that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So step out. Just
Yeah.
step out. That cycle will eat you alive. Just step out,
Beautifully said.
I think you're right.
Yeah. because it reminds me of a slogan again, and the 12 steps use it. It says a big chunk of our recovery is dependent on our ability to learn to live life on life's terms.
That's right.
So when we get sober, life doesn't change.
No.
Like you said, life is difficult.
Yes.
But our response to it does, and that's what gets better. Right? My little corner of the world gets better because I respond to it better.
Yes.
Right?
Well, my circumstances do not dictate my reaction anymore or what happens next. But you're right. How I respond to it can alter everything.
And that's the power that God gave us, is the power of choice.
Amen.
Right? That's what he lent to us in this here and now. Tiffany, thank you so much for being here. If I had to say something that struck me about this is that I loved where your energy came in, right? Early on, there's lots of kind of yes, no, let's get past this. And then when we start talking about what God's done for you, you just,
everything changed. Yes.
Yeah. You light up and I love that. I mean,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And it speaks to exactly what you just said in terms of how you are staying sober. It's by staying connected. And if I could then end with that, that's exactly, Tiffany brought up a verse earlier about the end of it there. Let me get you to quote it again, because I can't, but I often quote the end of it, that the devil roams the earth like a lion.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walketh about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour.
So I love that, right? Be sober, be clear-minded, be vigilant, be intentional. Vigilance means staying in the game, right? Be aware. Because your enemy roams this world like a lion seeking whom he may devour. That's the part I talk to people about all the time, because it reveals Satan's tactic. How does a lion hunt? Well, it chases a pack until what? Until the weak one falls away and it's isolated. Once one is isolated, it's done. Guys, you can't do this alone. We need support. Tiffany just said it may not be AA or Celebrate Recovery for her. It may be for you, but it's somebody. She doesn't go into a Mobile alone anymore. Why? Because she's aware.
Wisdom.
She's vigilant. She is vigilant. And so she brings support. And so guys, be wise, right? Be encouraged in your recovery walk. Don't be cocky.
That's right.
Don't be so quick to say, I've got this.
Right.
That's right.
You don't.
Be wise.
He's got you.
Yeah. We always want to add wisdom to our best intent, because there's a wonderful saying that says the road to hell is paved with good intention. And that's true. That's when we act on our intentions without wisdom. If we act strictly emotionally to them, you may end up slipping. So be wise, be vigilant, and we will see you next time on Jesus Loves Addicts. Take care.